It's been a very busy year for Unions New South Wales, and here to recap the highlights and lowlights is Mark Lennon. Mark, we've seen a year of continual attacks on workers by the state government.
Absolutely. All throughout the year, the O'Farrell government shown nothing but contempt for workers in New South Wales. The highlight of that, of course, being the workers' compensation cuts that occurred mid-year. They affect over 3 million employees across New South Wales. And they mean that, in effect, New South Wales has the worst workers' compensation benefits across the country.
There's sort of been some research that's recently been released saying that people don't really understand exactly what the O'Farrell government is doing.
That's right. They get part of the message. They've seen bits and pieces about the job cuts, the 15,000 job cuts, the workers' compensation cuts, the cuts to funding, particularly in education, $1.7 billion to go there and $3 billion in health. But they haven't had the opportunity to sort of join the dots and realise that this really is a government that doesn't have the interests of working people at heart.
And you guys have been campaigning strongly against the O'Farrell government. Have there been some positives to come out of all the campaigning?
Oh, no doubt. First of all, we've managed to maintain the electricity distribution, the poles and wires that run down our street in public hands. That was a significant win. More recently, we've seen them withdraw a bill that would have forced retail workers to be working on Boxing Day. We've also managed to ensure that the Industrial Relations Commission remains in place here in New South Wales. And importantly, community services workers have got a win where the government has agreed to fund its share of the equal pay case. That's a very significant win. Looking
forward, do you see 2013 to be a challenging year for the union?
It's going to be one of the most challenging years, I think, for working people, not just in New South Wales, but across the country. We've got a federal election coming up. What we've basically got in Australia at the present time is a battle of ideas between whether we can be a prosperous country with a growing economy that everyone shares in, that is an inclusive society, or the alternative from the Conservatives, be it Barry O'Farrell or Campbell Newman or Gina Reinhardt, who believe that prosperity shouldn't be shared across the nation, but should be the preserve of certain particular interest groups. That's not the way we want to see Australian society unfold. That's why 2013, with the federal election, is rolling out to be one of the most important years in recent times.
And do you foresee more of the same by the O'Farrell government?
I see more of the same from Conservatives generally, be it Barry O'Farrell or employers with a Conservative view that we have to continue moving down the path of increased flexibility and job cuts and a lack of vision for the country generally. What we want as working people is a good, growing, prosperous nation, but one that everyone shares in the wealth of the nation, an inclusive society. And that's our aim, and that's what we'll be campaigning on in 2013.
And you've had some great support from your members this year?
The unions and the members in New South Wales have been fantastic, and I want to thank them for all their efforts throughout the various campaigns we've been running over 2012, particularly workers' comp, and also want to ensure and wish them all the best for their families over the coming break.
And do you get a little bit of a break?
I'll be having 4 weeks off and enjoying every minute of it, rest assured.
We'll have a lovely Christmas and we'll see you in 2013.
Thanks very much, Emily.